I will call the meeting to order for the Design Review Board on Thursday, July 15th. The first thing that we need to do is approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I so move. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right. Now we'll consider the minutes from June 17th Design Review Board meeting. Are there any amendments or changes to the minutes?
Nothing.
I move they be approved as submitted.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay. The first thing on our agenda, or the third thing on our agenda, is a public hearing. It's a quasi judicial hearing regarding DRB 21-17. David and Janet Venata application to convert 1355 South Hemlock into a restaurant. The property is owned by David and Janet Venata and is located at 1347 to 1355 South Hemlock in a limited commercial C1 zone. In addition to 2 new exterior windows, the application includes site landscape and exterior lighting plan improvements. The application will be reviewed against the criteria of Municipal Code Chapter 17.44.080 through 17.44.100, the design review criteria. Does anyone object to the jurisdiction of the Design Review Board to hear this matter at this time? Does any commission member believe he or she has a conflict of interest or a personal bias? Has any commission member had any ex parte contacts or made a site visit?
Site visit.
I just drove by.
I drove by also. Okay, do we have a staff report this evening?
I do, although I think you should have told your friend to object at the,
Just for the fun of
just
it?
for fun of it. Just, I haven't been at one where there's an objection, so someday, so.
Someday.
Yeah, so this is David Venata on behalf of David and Janet for the design review approval for a restaurant at 1355 South Hemlock. The photograph and site plan are attached to the staff report. It's a limited commercial zoning district. It says it was constructed back in 1965 with a remodel of 1981. Commercial structure there's commercial structures to the north, south, and east with Pelican right there and some of the other around it. Across the street, across Hemlock, is an R2 medium density residential properties. The application requests approximately, and I didn't even put the square footage there of the outdoor dining area, but David, let's see, you have it on your chart there. So
Yeah.
you can reference that, but it's that front area out in front of that border South Hemlock. And then they've got an exterior lighting plan along that frontage of the street, and then some lighting in the rear for the service areas. The current tenant, or the current previous tenants, was Michael's Music at 1347, and then Dragon Heart Herbs and Natural Medicine. That's going to be converted to a Tolovana architecture. So I'm going to quickly go through the DRB requirements. Under the site design evaluation, staff comment is the proposed site plan provides for new outdoor patio dining area along South Hemlock frontage, to the south and west by 3-foot Debian rock wall with pilasters. Is that pilasters?
Yeah, pilasters.
Yeah. The applicant has provided the required 6 parking stalls located in the existing rear parking lot to the east, while a new ADA space is provided in the front, along with a bike parking facility in front of the Tolovana office building. A new refuse area is shown to the rear east of the 1355 restaurant building. I did not see any details of that structure, and so staff's recommended kind of details on the screening and aesthetics of that structure prior to approval. Then I'm going to move on to the staff comments regarding exterior architectural improvements are limited. That's just the replacement of those windows. And so just details on that screening of the refuse area is all I've pointed to. Landscape design evaluation criteria, staff comments, it's 5,979 square foot lot, requires 20% to be landscaped, 10% hard space, 10% spent 10% at least in living plant material. Applicant has provided detailed landscape plan that doubles the required 935 square feet with an additional 64% of the site in parking and other hardscape landscaping. The landscape plan provides a diverse mixture of ground cover to mid-sized shrubs, maintaining existing landscaping where appropriate. Light fixtures shall be downcast to meet the dark sky standards put in place in 1744-150. And the plan shows 6 new exterior lighting fixtures along with 2 new downcast sign lights. And the applicant has also provided an example of the Gatsby signs, which has been added to your packets. The recommendation is opportunity to refurbish existing structures in the Midtown commercial area. I think this will be, a marked improvement, keeping much of the same traffic pedestrian flows while maintaining the surrounding village aesthetic. Staff recommends approval with the conditions stated about the refuse enclosure. Any questions?
Could you speak to the use of the second building on the property?
The architect, that's going to be his architecture's
Office.
That's from my understanding, and David can speak to that.
With no changes.
I don't think so.
Any other questions? Do we have any additional correspondence besides the sign?
We've received none. I don't, Katie, anything today? No. Okay. We just had a request from the Chef Jeff there to speak, and so we'll let him speak as part of it.
Okay. So we can go ahead then with public testimony. I need to read a few statements. Number 1, the pertinent criteria to be considered are noted in the staff reports and listed on the criteria sheets posted on the meeting page of the city's website. Number 2, testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed toward that criterion or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or municipal code, which the person testifying believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal based on that issue. And then prior to the conclusion of the initial evidentiary hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional testimony, arguments, or evidence regarding the application. The Design Review Board shall grant such requests by continuing the public hearing or leaving the record open for additional written comments, written testimony, arguments, or evidence. Persons who testify shall first receive recognition from the chair, state their full name and their mailing address, and if appearing in a representative capacity, identify whom they represent. Is there a presentation by the applicant?
Yes. My name is David Veneta, Post Office Box 648, Tolavana Park, 97145. So can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, and David, if you need any of the exhibits to be shared, I can, but they have the packets, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll let you know if any questions come up pertaining to those, but I think I'm fine for now, Jeff. What I wanted to mention is, yes, Chef Jeff, you may see on your screen there, he's connected in an audio. He didn't have the opportunity to actually log on visually. So what I thought I'd do is just kind of give you some background on the project and then let Jeff talk about the actual operation of the restaurant itself. My wife, Janet, and I had this opportunity through a small business administration loan to purchase this property. And I really jumped at the opportunity because I'd always been interested in that particular property because just of its character and what I saw as the potential it in fact had. The fact that it currently had 10 parking spaces appealed to me greatly, as well as just the opportunity to restore and bring back a couple buildings that I think were sorely in need of restoration. And so I'm really excited about the project, number one. I hope you guys are too. I hope the city is. And I'm certainly excited about getting Jeff in the building and adding another fine dining restaurant to Cannon Beach. I think it's sorely needed. I think the buildings and the property were sorely needed to be upgraded. So all in all, I think it's going to be a win-win for the community. What we're planning on doing is, as Jeff indicated, is the southern building adjacent to the Pelican is going to be a restaurant, steakhouse restaurant, small as it is. But Jeff, the chef Jeff, I'll refer to him as, is confident that he can operate a small restaurant from that location. So it's very much going to be on par with Newman's 988, as an example, in that it will have limited seating. Certainly the outdoor seating will help with his capacity, but it's going to be a small, intimate restaurant, which you know, I think fits right in the character of Cannon Beach. The other building, 1347, is going to remain my office. And previously you'd approved my sign. And so I've had a lot of positive response from clients that have noticed it. So I'm really excited about the potential of having my own presence on Hemlock as one of the few architects in Cannon Beach, frankly. So all in all, I'm extremely excited about the project. We're going to be restoring both buildings in terms of the siding. You know, the building contains board and batten siding and shake roofs. I'm going to maintain those. I'm going to restore those. I'm not contemplating any changes on the 1347 building at all at this time, other than cleaning it up, restoring it. But I did want to address the refuse enclosure that Jeff mentioned. I didn't actually detail it. I was remiss in not including a detail on that, but I can tell you that what we're planning on is approximately 5 foot high fence around the refuse enclosure with matching board and batten siding. So I wouldn't be adverse if the design review board, your approval, included a condition to that effect. I think it's pretty simple, straightforward construction in that it will match the board and batten siding of the building exactly, and just be constructed to a height of 5 feet. So hopefully that could be handled that way, or if you would prefer, I can provide Jeff a detail of that as well. So with that, I'm certainly happy to answer any questions you might have. But again, my wife and I are very excited about the potential for this project and giving back to the community of Cannon Beach by restoring this property. So any questions?
I have one, David, you indicate the 1347 is for your office use.
Yes.
And I guess what's driving my question is how much vehicular traffic does the use of your office generate in a day that would require also parking? I guess I'm trying to determine the adequacy of parking with the
Yeah.
two uses.
Well, I can tell you that the majority, certainly with COVID, in the last year, my office visits have dwindled almost zero. So it's more a matter of visibility for myself rather than customers necessarily, my clients necessarily visiting my office. So I can almost tell you that my parking requirement will be nearly zero. I mean, if I get one client visit a day, that would be a peak, frankly, because of just recent developments in my industry and the fact that right now most of my staff are working from home. So again, I don't anticipate a huge volume at all. Again, I think I'm guesstimating a peak of maybe one a day, one parking space for an average client visit might be an hour to an hour and a half. So
And also,
pretty light.
I'm guessing that some of your meetings are at a site somewhere rather than in an office. But I don't want to make assumptions that are not true.
Yeah, frankly, that has been the pattern in the last year. I can tell you, the majority of my meetings have been at clients' project sites or their existing homes. So yeah, that's pretty accurate as well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Veneta, for your summary, and my apologies for mispronouncing your name earlier.
No, you came very close. Hey, you did very well. Thank you.
I have a question on the outdoor dining area.
Yes.
You plan any kind of covering roof or umbrellas?
I'll let Jeff address that. Chef Jeff is. He has talked about some temporary structures, tent type structures that you might see elsewhere in inclement weather situations, maybe during the winter months. I don't know what his exact plan is for that. If that is of concern or subject to design review due to their temporary nature, we're certainly happy to run that by the board. But I'll let Jeff chime in on that. Chef Jeff chime in on that one.
Well, should we go ahead and move to presentations by the proponents then and let Chef Jeff take the floor?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. Chef Jeff?
Be quiet.
Jeff? No, it doesn't show.
Over there.
Well, he's on, and there's not there's nothing that says
It doesn't show a microphone.
Here, let me see. Jeff? Because it says,
Yeah.
he says he's unmuted, so I don't know.
Well, we can come back to that if he is able to unmute.
I guess we could also. Yeah, I don't know. It shows that he's got his microphone available. It just
Yeah.
showing any. And I I can mute him, but I don't want to mute him. Let me try muting and unmuting him. Yeah.
Hi, folks, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we got you.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry about that. Everybody hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yes.
Ending. Well, I'm Chef Jeff Shutt, so it's a pleasure meeting all of you long distance here. Getting a hold of you through Scottsdale, Arizona, North Scottsdale, where I live currently. And very, very excited about coming to your community and opening up Gatsbys Oceanside Speakeasy and Steakhouse. I heard a comment earlier about booze. Yeah, there'll be booze there, but that's part. But we are a very nice, elegant, more of the top of the high-end steakhouse concept I've had here in Scottsdale and elsewhere. And we feature prime Black Angus steaks, Curabata pork chops, beautiful selections of seafood, Alaskan king crab leg, etc. And I felt that the Oregon coast was missing that from top to bottom, from Astoria all the way down. I couldn't find a steakhouse anywhere until you got into Portland when you were at Ringside, somewhere of that nature. As David mentioned, that location there is outstanding in its foot traffic. And I found that the appeal of being next to, or I should say across from, the Hallmark Suites made excellent sense with as much residency as it has throughout the year, and all the lodges up and down the street of Hemlock. That a lot of the allure of Cannon Beach to me was people going on dates, wedding announcements, engagements, whether they be anniversary parties, things of that nature. And because of that site being so small, literally 30 seats inside and the proposed 16 outside, lends to its intimacy for what we often call date night. And that's what I'm extremely well known for, date night or small gatherings, not really parties large of any sort, but more, people wanting to get out and enjoy something very, very nice. Like David mentioned in comparison, John Newman's 988. John's a fantastic chef, wonderful product coming out of his location for years. I'm in John's level there as an executive chef and owner. I'm a hands-on guy. I'm always there. Making sure that people are taken very well care of. Our focus is to provide the wonderful fare, but also to introduce people from around the world. As Cannon Beach, my studies and meeting with the Chamber of Commerce there and talking to Jeff Adams on the phone and such, that, roughly 2,000 residents, but millions of people that come through there on an annual basis from all around the world. And I'm one of them. I started coming to your location in 1995 and was enchanted with it. Even back when Pelican was not the Pelican many, many years ago and such. And I always felt that this is a place I want to retire. I've been in this industry for 43 years, lots of experience, liquor licenses all over the place, including Oregon. And I felt that it was a great place. And as David mentioned, things have changed in our industry. COVID really made us owners, chefs, think twice about how we're operating. And I got to be honest with you, I've had restaurants that are 8,000 plus square feet, 10,000. But this little place makes sense in its own weird way, is that because getting employees is virtually impossible, I'm actually importing a couple, and myself, of course, but, keeping it tight and mighty, I think is a serious answer to utilizing that space effectively. It is extremely tight. I also am a green technology chef, which is kind of unique. There's nobody up there, even after talking with the fire marshal up there. And they absolutely love the concept. My discussions with them, we use commercial induction cooktops, sous vide systems, and very wonderful technology that's through Rationale that allows us to cook with no open flames. So in a confined area like that, we don't feel any temperature changes at all. It's actually as cool in that kitchen as it is out in the dining area. The food comes out faster and much more consistent. And I don't have to worry about having a massive amount of staff because the prep is really all the key to it. And the systems allow me to bring the fare to the people. That's just wonderful and consistent. They come back time and time and time again. I have people coming back for years to my places. We're bringing in an international, or what I call a global wine list. So while we focus, of course, on the Oregon, Washington wines, Napa, my goal is that it's because there's so much tourism from people all around the world that we should not, or that we should, I should say, have on hand elegant selections for them as well. A lot of people misconstrue steakhouses as very, very expensive. I'd like to make a statement that yes, while our prices are at the top of the heap, and especially because you are getting prime Black Angus, not a choice or select steak, but with the intensity and focus on presentation and flavor, that what we find is people truly, they truly enjoy coupling those items with beautiful wines, champagnes. I have a blend of what I call Prohibition era cocktails. That's the term Gatsbys. I normally do speakeasies, but Gatsbys is kind of my play on another one. And from the Roaring 20s, so a lot of the decor is very intimate and fun from that era, but does not affect the external of the location. So you won't see any of that kind of stuff outside. Maybe a couple barrels that we have that are fun, whiskey barrels. We use them as plant stands and such, so that adds to the elegance, but also gives the charm of what we are. So by adding the wines to the fair that are global, I think people will appreciate it. I've had much conversation with many people up there, and they seem very excited for what we're looking to do. Teaming up with David and Janet, Vanetta has been outstanding. I've been introduced to some phenomenal construction people up there, Gary Smith, electrician, and John, construction, Coaster Construction, and a few others, and just outstanding people. I've enjoyed already meeting with them, and we're anxious and excited to use them and their aspects. If I could answer a question in regards to the front patio dining that was inquired upon. Initially, I was looking at utilizing pergolas, which I felt would give some elegance to that area as well, because it would allow for more climbing vegetation, that would add to that and make it really look nice. When David and I took on this, when David bought the property and I came to him to be a tenant, we both realized that the vegetation was overgrown and needed to be cleared, but then redone in a tasteful way that would give people much admiration of the site. When I've been up there, I've been watching people look at the flowers. I take pictures of the flowers, and it's really nice. And I think by adding the pergolas as a temporary cover when necessary, they're not obtrusive. They're not terrible looking at all. They're very heavy duty, and they can be secured permanently if necessary. That's not an issue. In terms of the refuse area in the back, David pretty much said exactly how we looked at it. It's just trying to match it up to the existing boards that are on the building currently. And one thing about us chefs, I'm an extreme neat person. If you think on the level of the French Laundry in Uteville, California, that's kind of the level you're going to get. You'll have the highest end steakhouse for sure on the coast. And I think that adds a lot of appeal and attraction that maybe we can share with you guys. I've been to the Pelican many times and met their management and such, and watching their business there, and then the liquor store going to the opposite side of us, the north side, and then of course Sleeping Monk and all of them. It just made seriously good sense to me as Midtown being the new location, the hotspot, and spreading. I don't think spreading is the right word. I think enhancing the opportunities and options for people for dining. I just think that this was probably something that was missing, and everybody that I've talked to seemingly is looking forward to it. So with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
I guess I'm needing more information about what is going to be provided for sheltering the outside
Pergolas.
dining. Without a picture of something, I'm having difficulty grasping what we would be approving.
Right.
Yeah, if, I would say, David and Jeff, if you are looking at doing pergolas or something like that, that's going to have to probably be a different application, or you just would, they'll condition that and we would have to come back and see those, because that's, even if it's going to be seasonal ones, you would want to get those approved by the DRB that you can pull out every year at the during season, because right now what is up throughout the city are emergency. They're going to last through this summer, but they will not be allowed to keep those 10-foot tents up unless we pass a new ordinance. And so I think, David, you know that that pretty much it would have to get DRB approval. Not saying it has to be part of this application, but
Yes, that's.
that's the way I see it as well, Mark.
And I think we're fine with that. Chef Jeff, I think that's a reasonable request on the part of the design review board.
Yes, I agree with everybody. Just for slight education, I'm definitely not interested in putting up portable 10 by 10 awnings. I think they detract from the appeal of the location. I also feel that umbrellas, although I have used umbrella tables throughout different states, I think that these structures are a lot, much stronger and have a level of elegance. But again, I'll work with David Bennett on putting that in front of you whenever you wish to have it.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
I have one other
go ahead.
another question I had was about, I guess, the picture of the wall, and now seeing the drawing or looking at it closer. How is this? I was concerned about the attachment of the sign, because the sign is going to be people walking by it continuously. And if there's any part of that sign or the attaching elements of that sign that people can get hung up on, it could be a problem. So
Yeah. Yeah, if I could speak to that. There is a 3-foot planter separation between the sign and the sidewalk. But I do agree with you. I mean, it's just human nature to see something like that and want to touch it or feel it, that kind of thing. We are going to secure it. We're working with Darwin Turner, Cannon Beach Design, and we will be securing it to the gabions. If you're familiar with gabions at all, they're stainless steel baskets full of rock, and they're pretty substantial. So what we're going to need to make sure is that the sign is secured very well to the stainless steel frame of those gabions. So I appreciate your concern that way. And again, 3 feet isn't a huge distance, I admit, but I think the key will be to secure the sign. Jeff will no doubt be responsible for maintaining it if it were to be, not necessarily vandalized as such, but if somebody were to interfere with the sign, we'd have to take care of that, obviously, but it will be secured to the rock gabions.
okay, I guess I made my question and comment based on what I thought I saw in the picture.
Yeah.
Which didn't bring obvious to me that there was a planting between the wall and the sidewalk. So with that
Right.
planting space there, I'm more comfortable than I was.
Yeah, frankly, I'm more comfortable with it too.
Yeah.
If it were right on the sidewalk, that
Yeah.
would be too tempting for people. I totally agree, but that 3-foot buffer is going to help tremendously.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Any,
if I could just concur with David rather quickly, the Gabion wall, it's an old Roman design, super strong, and the benefit of that was to add some nice character, natural character. David felt was a wonderful architectural element that blends with the lumber of the building, of course, and all the greenery that we intend to replace and enhance. So the strength of those walls are quite incredible. We have them all over here in Scottsdale, and they're extremely well used. I live in one of the highest wealth areas of Scottsdale, and they're everywhere. These guys can put any kind of wall up they want, but they really choose these Gabion walls as a wonderful element to accent the mountains and the living areas here in Scottsdale. Definitely feel with David that they'll enhance that property for sure, as well as it serves one more purpose, and that's a good one. And the Oregon Liquor Control Commission likes their boundaries, and whether it be fences of some sort or whatever, they really want to know how you're going to control outdoor dining, as you're probably well aware of. This Gabion rock wall gives to the investigator, who I've already been in contact with and talking with, a good feeling that there's some ability to control liquor consumption out there, and without it going out on the sidewalks and such. The physical sign itself, hanging from that, we're working with Darwin actively on making sure that's absolutely secure, and there's no way that will come down or hurt anybody with the distance of vegetation in front of it. So I hope that helps answer that question.
Thank you.
any other questions? Do we have any presentations by opponents? Any additional staff comments?
No, I just want to clarify that I have the condition for the refuse screen to be 5 foot batten border to match the existing, and that's the only notes that I have. And they'd come back for the seasonal pergolas if they are looking to do that.
Do the applicants or proponents wish to make any additional statements?
No, I think those conditions of approval are reasonable. We can certainly live with those, and we have no problem with those 2 conditions of approval if you so see it.
Okay. If there are no objections, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve the site plan, or are we only doing architectural?
No, sorry. Yeah, that's you're doing site and
Landscaping and,
landscape and architectural.
okay, all 3. Is there a motion to approve the site plan?
Move we approve the site plan with the provision that any development of the outdoor dining area coverings or lighting would require additional submission for approval.
Second,
Second.
any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the architectural design?
I guess I need a little clarification on the comments on the siding that were made.
About the refuse.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so we're good with the siding proposal.
I think we're just maintaining the siding.
Other than the,
So it's just a architectural refuse enclosure, a 5-foot high wood board and batten to match the exterior siding.
I guess I can move that we approve the architectural with the condition that the refuse enclosure will be made to match.
Thank you.
I would add the same restriction as for the site plan on the outdoor dining area, since that's partially architectural.
Okay.
Okay. And then so that's a friendly amendment to your motion.
It is.
And then would you like to second?
I will second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the landscape design?
Was here for
Do
that.
we don't really have a plan.
Yeah, you do.
But we didn't really talk about it too.
Yeah.
We got a very detailed one. We didn't discuss it.
We didn't discuss it very much. Would you like to discuss it or do you have any questions about it?
I think if it's done as laid out here, it'll look nice.
Yeah.
So am I to understand that pretty much everything's being removed and then replanted as shown? Yeah, that's what it
Yes,
sounds
that's
like.
correct. That is
Okay.
correct. There is at least one tree that we're retaining in the northeast corner. And other than that, yes, everything else will be replaced, with the exception of there's some additional trees along the east side and south side that we're retaining as well. So whenever we can, we are retaining and maintaining existing trees.
You can, I believe they're identified there on the landscape plan.
Yes,
Yeah, with an X, EX.
EX. Mhm.
yes. Those are all trees that will be remaining.
Any questions about the landscaping plan?
Right.
On the, I guess it's the south side of the building, there's a notation for a
Rain garden?
rain garden. What exactly is that?
Yeah, what that is really a depression in the ground itself, planted with grasses to both filter and allow natural drainage. The site is somewhat challenged by the grade itself. The buildings are sit relatively low on the property. And as a way of dealing with surface drainage, we're creating a depression or a rain garden. That's going to be filled, like I mentioned, with grasses to help filter the stormwater and disperse it into the ground. So we're working with Rita Fraley of Cannon Beach Landscape on that detail. And we think it's going to be pretty successful. Now, granted, it's somewhat behind the building. It's not going to be a high visibility feature, but it is going to be effective at both treating and dispersing stormwater.
I come from the low country of Georgia, and this is pretty much 50% of every landscape plan is rain gardens, because it's the best way to filter out stormwater in a natural way.
Yeah, it really is. We're going to see more and more of it in Oregon too.
Is there only one catch basin on this whole property?
That's correct. Yes. Along the north property line there.
A lot of pavement. Where does the rest of it go?
Yeah, the rest of it goes towards Hemlock. We're dealing with Public Works right now, but there's a catch basin in the street immediately at the driveway. There's a driveway, of course, in between the two buildings where the parking lot empties out to the street, and there's a catch basin immediately in the street, right at the north end of the driveway.
Are we ready to make a motion or do we have more questions? Worried about the runoff?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of pavement.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it does rain here
a
occasionally.
lot, yeah.
Hasn't rained much this year, but hoping that changes.
Yeah. I
Have there
would,
been problems with the existing pavement and the runoff?
you know, no worse than any others. And I was going to say, we're not adding any,
Hard surface?
yeah, we're not
Yeah.
adding, we're actually doing, I think, better. And
It seems like this would be an improvement over the current situation to have that.
that's the hope. And I think that, like David said, I think all of these along here are right now kind of in rehabilitation. So I think that Trevor and Karen are working with them to try to resolve some of any current issues and putting in the rain gardens and doing what we can with the runoff that we have from the paved surfaces is a step in the right direction, you know.
Is there much slope to the parcel? I mean, which way does it, it must slope toward the rain garden or does it slope toward the street or from the northeast to the southwest? Do we?
Yeah, it slopes towards the street currently. Yeah.
Yep.
If I could interject, as part of the site improvements, I'm working with both the excavator and Rita. We're going to be connecting the downspouts to both the catch basin that exists along the north property line as well as to the rain garden. So the net effect is going to be to decrease the amount of water volume going over the parking lot and into the street. Currently, all the downspouts simply daylight and all the roof water runoff as well as the surface parking water currently sheet drains to Hemlock. So that's going to be reduced, I'd say, by probably 40% just by connecting the downspouts and other means than to the parking lot.
So the downspouts for both buildings are going to go to the rain garden or one's going to go to the street and one's going to go to the rain garden?
One's going to go to the rain garden. The other one's going to go to the catch basin along the north property.
On the north side, okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. We're definitely going to be improving the drainage situation through those measures.
I'm prepared to move, we accept the landscape plan as we've now understand it.
I'll second that.
Great. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
thank you all.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. We remain very excited.
Motion for the chair to accept the orders. Yes, we need to have a motion for.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do we have any other discussion items or do we need to take action on the sign?
First thing I would say, yeah, for the sign, I would make a motion just to approve the sign as well.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the sign?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Then on the second thing, I would just say that if anyone who's hasn't done the parking survey that's online for the CanadaBeachTSP.com, if you haven't taken that, or if you haven't told your neighbor, phone your friends, do that. We have another week left of that that's open. We have over, I think, 150 last time I checked. So I really think we can top 250 if we keep at it. So that's a great turnout for that. And great feedback on the original transportation survey as well. And a report on that will be coming out here in the next week or two. So stay tuned on that. That's, I think, really the only thing. The code audit, I'll just give you guys an update. That starts this coming month, and we will start those joint meetings probably in September, I think is when we were targeted for that. But we will start the kind of track one changes with the zoning and a work session next Thursday at the Planning Commission. So that's it for me.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.